Well, I'm back, guys, to another episode here at Outer Banks, episode 7 of season 1, and this one is called Dead Cam. Basically, we kick off this episode, which, you know, basically what I know, man. This big fucking Ward Cameron, he's the killer. He overhears John B and Sarah basically discussing the 400 million in the gold bars. Now, when he's listening in for the kitchen, and it reveals that he has a gaff hook, obviously, what those two guys had. That were the dead bodies that were found with a big L hook. And then during, like, after all this, like JJ and the others, they basically go to sell their first gold. They agree with the pawnbroker on 70,000, but then she goes to her boss, and it's that drug dealer. I think his name's Barry, and she's like, "Oh, we've got your money. It's just in this warehouse over there, mate." And these ones just agree to it, like that isn't obvious, and then he pulls them over, and then fucking he holds him at gunpoint, but then John B manages to get the upper hand of him, and then they basically all batter him. I mean, 5-on-1, the guy actually put up a pretty decent fight. I don't know, it's a bit stupid. Like, Ward batters this Barry guy, but what, like 5-on-1, and this guy legit holds his own for like 15 seconds. Albeit, yeah, I know two of them are fucking girls, like, but you know, I mean, it's not like fucking Pope's Brock Lesnar, is it? So you get my point. But JJ basically steals his ID. And he's like, "We're gonna make things even," and he basically steals all his cash, enough obviously to pay back the fee that he has. But John B basically confronts him about it. They're not happy. Pope's not happy. Key's not happy. Sarah's not happy. But then Big JJ just storms off on his own, and then he basically goes to his dad about it, hands over the 25 grand to him, and his dad's going to gamble it all away, god damn it. And then basically there's a score goal here, but JJ actually fights back, and he's not scared anymore, and he basically gets the upper hand here eventually, and he basically fucks off with the cash. And this is why you don't become a gambler, because then you'll owe 25 grand. It's like, I'm not going to do it, you little shit. So fucking fair play to him. You know, good night. And then we get like John B and Sarah in this abandoned church. He's like, "I ain't the first girl you've took here, brother. She basically explains how she bails. She fucking bolts for the doorman when she gets intimate with some time. Then it's basically, it's implied here that they get it on, and they do get it on, but obviously we're not seeing it. I wonder why. JJ is then discovered by Key and Pope, and he's basically spent on a hot tub, and then when he stands up, they notice all the bruises and cuts on his body, obviously because of his father battering them. And then we get like a freeway hug here. But Pope, like, I'm not saying Pope doesn't care about him, because obviously he does, but the way he was kind of doing it was like, oh fuck, I don't want to miss out here an opportunity to hug Key here. I mean, that's what it came across to me, but maybe I'm just a wee fucking weirdo. But then the episode ends. We get the whole fishing trip here with John B and Ward. Earlier on in the episode, basically, he says he'd take him out. They get out there. Ward, though, manages to, he eventually mentions about the whole gold that they found, and he says it's amazing that John B found it after all these years. But it's like, this guy knows so much, but John B, like, doesn't admit to it. Now, I understand why he doesn't, but at this point, the guy already fucking knows. Like, obviously, John B doesn't know he knows, but I mean, if he's talking about this much information, but he mentions Redfield, which was his first fuck up, and John B immediately clings to that and questions him about it, and Ward basically goes into fucking panic mode here, and then basically we get John B running away from him after he kind of like went to attack him, and then Ward grabs the hook, and then he plots fucking up the ship, and then looks like he's gonna hit Big John B, brother, and that's where the episode ends on a cliffhanger. But you know what? It was still a pretty decent cliffhanger here, and it makes you fuck, oh, I need to see the next episode. You know, it's like, this show obviously will be critiqued as like it's a teen drama, but I mean, and I don't like teen drama. I think they're pish. See, kids and teens, I think they're fucking shit. But I think the way this one's done is actually very well done, because I like mysteries and shit like that, and this essentially is it, with like, you know, the whole missing ship and shit. It reminds me of, what's that game called? Man of Medan. It reminds me of that, but I think this is still better than Man of Medan. But anyway, guys, until next time, I'll give this episode I'll give it an 8 out of 10.